Hey everybody, I'm John Swantek. Welcome to the latest edition of Match Play and a highly anticipated rematch between a couple of our top contestants, a couple of heavyweights slugging it out again. We say hello to David Dusek, the deputy editor of golf.com, and Matt Adams from the PGA Tour Network, the host of Fairways of Life, weekday mornings on SiriusXM Radio. Matt was the runner-up last time, so he gets the honor today. The victory for Martin Laird at Bay Hill was the 300th on the PGA Tour by a former Nationwide Tour alum. Inside the PGA Tour is going to rank the top 16 with a Sweet 16 feature later this month, Matt. Who gets your vote as the best player who has won on both the PGA Tour and the Nationwide Tour?
Well, I wanted to define it, first of all, as a criteria that you have to have won a major before you should even be considered for one of the best in that category. And so it limits the field considerably in that it brought my list down to Jim Furyk, David Duval, David Toms, Tom Lehman, John Daly, or Zach Johnson. And I had to go with Jim Furyk, a winner of the U.S. Open, 16-time winner on the PGA Tour, won the FedEx Cup Championship last year, 7-time Ryder Cupper, and a 6-time President's Cupper. To me, Jim Furyk right now, far and away, is the man that represents the best player to have come out of the Nationwide Tour.
David, when you consider Lucas Glover and Stuart Sink have also won majors, that's 8 players who are major champions who have won on both tours.
Just for the contrarian point of view, I'm going to throw out David Duval, though, for one simple reason. Well, a couple reasons that I'll give you. Obviously, that win at the 2001 British Open, a 1999 Players' Championship win. The guy was an ATM machine from 95 to 2001. I mean, he collected, over the course of his career so far, 68 top 10s. He's also got one thing that Furyk never has been able to achieve, at least to this point. David Duval was the #1 player in the world at one point. Now, he has obviously fallen precipitously, and he's sort of very inconsistent these days. But there's a very, very short list of players who have been able to achieve the #1 ranking in the world, and David Duval's name is on that list.
Very tight between Furyk and Duval. I'm going to give it to Furyk and Matt Adams for current form. Jim has been able to maintain it for longer in his career than Duval, who's fallen on some hard times in recent years. So topic number 1 goes to Matt Adams. Topic 2 goes to David Dusek, another close call for Steve Marino at Bay Hill last week, but also in contention, Spencer Levine, Mark Leishman, Ricky Fowler. They were all in the hunt, David. Which of those 4 is going to be the first to win on the PGA Tour?
I'm going to go with Ricky Fowler as basically being the guy who, amongst that group, that I think is probably going to win his first PGA Tour event. 2 things that really sort of stand out in my mind. Number 1, he's shown he can go really low. Earlier this year, he shot 62 in Phoenix, and you have to be able to do that to win on the PGA Tour. Also, he's ranked number 13 in putting. He gets a lot of attention for the clothing and being able to hit the ball long, but that 13th ranking in putting goes a long way towards winning. So I think Ricky's the guy.
Matt, a lot of close calls for Steve Marino. Sometimes the first title kind of has to win you. What do you think?
Steve Marino is ahead of the tour average in scoring average, in driving distance, in driving accuracy percentage, in greens and regulation, in scrambling, in putts per round. Steve Marino already has 2 second-place finishes on the PGA Tour in 2011, so he's showing that he has the form right now. I think Steve Marino is going to be the next man to win.
Fowler certainly has the game. Marino, the only concern there is the scar tissue that may be accumulating, but if you put yourself in position enough, eventually you're going to break through. So we'll have topic 2 and move on to topic number 3. It goes to Matt Adams. This week's Shell Houston Open coincides with the Final Four in Houston. So Matt, in terms of your great college golf programs through the years that have been represented on the PGA Tour, who's your Final Four and who's your ultimate national champion?
One of my Final Four, and it's an absolute emotional pick that I would throw in there, is the University of Rhode Island. They have continued to build a program and distinguish themselves with pride on a national level in a very, very difficult atmosphere to play in. My second is Houston. If you look alone at Houston's performance from 1956 to 1970, they won the national title 12 times. Absolutely unbelievable. My other, Wake Forest. Here, Wake Forest in 1975 had a team that Golf Digest called the greatest golf team of all time. You can't ignore them just based upon that alone. And I guess my 4th would be Stanford for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you look at the national titles since 2001, no team has done it twice. Stanford did it in 2007. They also produced an individual medalist back in 1996, and that was in Tiger Woods. So those would be the 4 that I would pick, based as much on emotion as anything else.
David, some tradition-rich programs there. Matt even threw in a Cinderella and URI. What you got?
I've got that beat. Come on, you can't. Oklahoma State obviously has to be one of those schools, I think. I mean, Scott Verplank, Charles Howell, Jonathan Moore with the individual title back in 06, #1 right now as we speak. I'm going to put Arizona State in there as well. I mean, this is a program that Phil Mickelson didn't exactly put on the map, but he certainly helped. Jim Carter back in '83 wins an individual title. Mickelson with those 3 titles, 89, 90, and 92. Canizares in 2003. I'll also take Texas from the early 70s. Any team that's got Tom Kite and Ben Crenshaw running neck and neck on that, I'll ride with the Longhorns anytime. But my ultimate winner of my Final Four is going to be the University of Arizona's women's team. I think that Annika Sorenstam and Lorena Ochoa, I'll take those 2 horses all the way. So I'll put the University of Arizona women's team right up there as the #1 program.
No votes for Boo Weekley's alma mater, Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College, guys?
Yeah, Butler is enough of a long shot in the men's hoops. Let's leave it at that.
You guys are
Hey,
golf
Swati, am I allowed
snobs.
to concede?
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm going to concede that hole because I love that he threw in the women's golf program. Well done, David.
All right, so where does that leave us now? We're all square. That sets us up for another rematch. How did that work out? Matt Adams wins topic 1. We have topic 2, and topic 3 conceded goes to David Dusek. You guys have played it very well. We'll be back to do this again. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Pleasure as
Thanks a
always.
lot.
See you guys.